We begin this afternoon with a full-scale investigation which is underway into Sunday's attack on the Kwabenya police station here in Accra. Detectives have been deployed to pick evidence crucial to the investigation. There's also a hunt for those inmates who escaped from custody while the cell at the Kwabenya police station has been evacuated. This afternoon, we have exclusive details of how the robbers gunned down the duty officer, Inspector Emmanuel Ashilevi, and it's one of many such attacks on police officers, and now it appears morale is getting low. We'll interrogate that and what the IGP intends to do to deal with the growing attacks on officers. But now let's hear what Maxwell Agbagba found when he visited the community this morning.
Kwabenya police station, the scene of the deadly attack on Sunday dawn. Well, we were told by some sources here at the Kwabenya police station that the officer who was killed in that attack was actually sitting in his vehicle here, this resting vehicle right behind me. We are told that he was on inspection duties as he is originally stationed at the Ashoman police station. Again, we are told by some of the police officers here that when the hooligans stormed the police station, they demanded the keys of the cells here. He refused to do that, and we were told he was held and taken to the frontage of the charge office here, where he was fatally shot. One of the police officers who was behind the counter inside the charge station got alarmed by the situation and then handed over the keys to the hooligans who were carrying arms. There, we were told they freed 7 people who were inside the cells. 7 others who were in the cells chose to stay back. They have been transferred to the Medina police station. We are told police officers here on the ground are not willing to talk to us. They are tight-lipped on the matter, directing us to the police hierarchy. But some residents we've been speaking to tell us that they are afraid and they are deeply alarmed by the situation.
Sunday, they see and the Miankasana, if I'm going to pa, a son say, the course war no, Ahometi. Na police van Kaboy and Hobaya, or more Sanko Mukrayan, yet to me, Akko police station. Ako boni petu ewo ho eyi ni pefi sel edumawa besenko brother adi we na police for company yo mu say ya na ye de na man mu ye dan.
Okay, well, he says he's extremely terrified by what happened. He's saying that if police officers mandated to protect them as citizens are suffering attacks such as this, what then would happen to people like him who really do not have the strength to be able to ward off some of these attacks?
I'm very terrified because what is going on in this modern Ghana is too seriously. Because there are so many foreigners are moving around in this country. They don't even have a paper. They are moving around. Even at least by 12, 11 that way, you can see the Nigerian guys moving around, smoking weed and things, so moving here and there, doing unnecessary things in this modern Ghana. So we beg, we need government, we want government to do something with it. Because the foreigners, at first, Ghana, they don't have that kind of thing in this Ghana. But at least, what is going on, I can see that foreigners, those Nigerian guys and things, Lebanese people, they just spoil the people in Ghana.
You keep saying foreigners, making reference to Nigerians. Are you saying that because one of the suspects who is currently on the run is a Nigerian? Are you saying that because of this? Or you've seen?
No. Because I'm a Ghanaian. I'm a Ghanaian. But what even a policeman guiding us, and that same policeman was shot. What about we civilians?
Okay.
What about we civilians? So we're going to be afraid. Once I'm here, I'm afraid. Because I'm afraid that when I'm moving to house and I meet that kind of people, what am I going to do?
Okay. But when we came here to this mechanic shop, that was the subject of discussion this early morning. About 10 men were gathered discussing the incident that happened at the Kwabenya police station. We have another man here. Chief, how did you take the news?
I take the news seriously. Yesterday, I've been in church, so I'm at the church. Then one of my colleagues called me that they shoot one man at the Atomic police station. So me too, I feel sad because the man, I know the man very well.
Oh, you know him?
I know him, the man that was dead. No. And one of my friends too is there. I think his name is Numu. We usually call him Numu. He too is at the scene. He's a police officer. So he too calls me and he said they shoot one of his maid. I said, wow, why? Because police station, then they go and shoot over there. Then what about the civilians? We are moving around. How is our security? How can we do now? You understand? So when this morning I'm here, we all gathered and they said, no, we have to go to the scene and then go and sympathize with them. But we couldn't went there. And we are here and you people too come. So we feel disturbed to hear that news.
Yes, you know. I'm hearing no cleaning. They say police nipa and they say I'm not busy. So the and number the you don't throw in a number. Now me the meeting ma can say Ghana say Ghana also feel we pa.
Well, he says what has happened. It's very scary. If this has happened to a police officer, then really does not know what he can say for ordinary citizens. He's cautioning Ghanaians to be conscious.
And you see, and the meeting ma can say man from no fly Ghana no o see mpani for no hwe yi pa because you see the get 40 traba dozen hwe be 4 years time Ghana for yemfani easy who all them cry here bubu about so o see hwe yi pa. Well,
what he's saying is that we need to be careful about the kind of foreigners who come to our country, because he says in some years to come, you'll not be able to sleep in your room. When you sleep in your room, somebody will just open the door and just, barge into your room and then do whatever that they want to do to you.
Well, my colleague Maxwell Agbagba joins me in the studio to tell us more about this incident. Hello, Maxwell. Hello. What information are you gathering from the ground as to how this whole thing was carried out?
Well, our sources at the Kwabenya police station told us that when the hooligans raided the police station, in fact, the inspector who is actually stationed at the Ashoman police station was positioned in his vehicle when they got to the Kwabenya police station. There they got closer to him, but he resisted a bit and actually asked them what they were at the police station there for. Then they dragged him from his vehicle, brought him in front of the charge office, demanded the keys to the cells. He refused to give it to them, and that was the point where they shot him in front of the charge office. In fact, today when we got to the scene, the blood that was splattered on the floor was still there. Some police officers had to come there, to wash it away. We were told yesterday that they covered it with soil, but it looks like the place has still not been properly cleaned. So some police officers were still doing the cleaning. Now, if you get into the police station, now behind the police station itself, there's a bullet hole in one of the windows, and there our source there also told us that when they came there, the inspector was in his vehicle. Another police officer, we are told, was behind the counter when the men, after shooting the other police officer, they got inside the police station. The man behind the counter sensed danger and fled the scene, leaving the keys to the cells, behind. As he fled the scene, the attackers shot through the window. So that was the bullet hole that we saw there. And the gunshots, the bullet from the gun actually deflected to the window, the side mirror of another vehicle that was parked there. So we saw both perforations, one on the one bullet hole on the window of the police station, and then the other on the side mirror of a vehicle that was parked very close, right behind the police station. In fact, we told that if a burglar proved was fixed behind the window, then it means that the police officer wouldn't have been able to escape the scene. But for that, he wouldn't have been able to escape. But we cited that he was able to flee because there was no burglar proof like the adjoining buildings.
Okay, so now we know that there were other colleagues of this officer who was shot.
Exactly.
Couldn't they help this officer in, disarming these people?
Well, our source there told us that they were actually taken unawares, because we are learning today that there was somebody at the CID unit, there was an officer there was also an officer at the MTTD unit. I mean, if you go to the Kwabenya police station, you have the commander's office, then you come to the next office is the MTTD office, the next one is the, is the charge office.
Right.
And so we are told that there were some officers stationed at the MTTD unit and then also at the CID office, but they were all, helpless at that point, so they couldn't, do anything.
So how is the place currently?
Well, business is business as usual. We are told that the other suspects who did not leave, we know right now that 7 suspects actually were the ones who left the station after the hooligans facilitated that move. We understand that 7 of them stayed behind. Now they've been taken to another station. They've been transferred to another police station. So business is continuing as usual at the police station while we're there.
Okay, please hold on for me. I will take, let's listen to the Interior Minister, the Deputy Interior Minister, on what he has to say about this incident.
Indeed, we were greeted with sad news in the early hours of Saturday that some men attacked this very police station, freed 7 suspects who were behind bars or cells in this police station. And the cause of it, they shot a police officer who later on died in the hospital. We are here to ascertain or to visit the place and witness, or if you like, find out what actually happened. Again, we are here to boost the morale of the men and women of the police service here in this district. Now let me be quick to also inform you that the police are working very hard. We are investigating to ensure that by the grace of God, we'll be able to catch up on these suspects who ran away and those who committed this crime. We condemn in no uncertain terms this incident and want to assure Ghanaians that the ministries of the Interior, the Ghana Police Service and the security apparatus are working very hard, and any attempt to suggest that the security of this country is broken down is not true. We are working, and we can assure you that very soon the perpetrators of this crime will be brought to book. However, let me use your opinion, your medium to appeal to Ghanaians or the public that in other countries or other jurisdictions, effective policing thrives on good information. May I humbly appeal to the good people of this country to work hand in hand with the stakeholders or the security agencies by providing information so that together we can make Ghana a comfortable place for us to do business, for us to sleep. Because after all, the work of the Ghana police is to protect lives and properties. And I assure Ghanaians that Mr. President has it on his heart that we shall do so without fear or favor. On this note, I will not say much, but just to let you know that we are working very hard and the matter is under investigation, so I will not go into it. But I assure you, again, that Mr. President and my minister is working very hard, and that some of the challenges that are facing the Ghana police, which was captured in our manifesto, is on its way, and we are working very hard to ensure that the police are provided with logistics to be able to combat crime without fear or favor. On this note, I'll end here and thank all of you, the media, and I hope that we'll be very circumspect in our reportage. Let's balance our reportage. Let us try to put out the facts so as we don't create fear and panic in the country.
Well, that's not all. Minister for Information, Mustafa Hamid, also seemed to have a lot to be saying about this incident.
There is a manhunt for these criminal elements, and we have no doubt in our minds that they will be brought to face justice. Government takes this opportunity to express its deepest sympathies to the family of the deceased policeman, Inspector Emmanuel Ashilevi. While this is one of the isolated incidents that have unsettled the Ghanaian population, we wish to continue to assure the Ghanaian people that the security agencies are working to ensure the general safety of the population. The preventive mechanism of the police service remains intact, which helps to nip such occurrences in the bud before they become full-blown criminal activity. One such example is the diligence of the police service, which, with the cooperation of the public, led to the exposure of certain people who had in their possession explosives which they could have used to harm the population. The police continues to deploy this preventive mechanism to ensure that criminal elements are arrested before they deploy their activity. As everywhere else in the world, certain criminal elements manage to once in a while beat the system in order to perpetuate their crimes. When this occurs, the police service has worked hard to arrest the perpetrators and make sure that they face justice. In the case of the criminal gang that killed 2 police officers in Drobonso in the Sechirafram Plains of the Eastern region, 7 people have been arrested in connection with that crime and are currently facing the law. Government, on its part, is committed to equipping the security agencies to enable them do their job to the utmost. Recently, the president outdoored over 100 out of a possible 200 vehicles for the security services. Motorbikes and other logistics are also being deployed to augment the logistic base of the police and security agencies. We therefore call on the media to support the work of the police by giving publicity to the positive activities of the police and also publicizing police alerts.
We have details of the escapees coming up shortly on The Pulse. Please stay with us. Welcome back to The Pulse. It's been a day of bloody shooting of a police officer, and Kwabenya and its environs are not safe and they're not living in fear. My colleague Maxwell Agbagba is still in the studio. Who'll be telling us the mood in that community now. But who are the jailbreakers? Latif Idris is standing by to tell us. Latif, tell us about these suspects.
All right, so what we know now, there are 7 guys on the run. They broke out from the Kwabenya police station, and we have the identity here. Let's start with the first suspect. As we see on the screen now, the first suspect is a Nigerian national, suspect Chibuzo Akwaba. Chibuzo Akwaba. He was arrested for robbery, and suspect was on remand based on court's recommendation. So the court put him on remand, and as we know now, he's among the 7 guys who escaped from the Kwabenya police station. We move on to the second suspect who is on the run, and he is Adam Roxon. Adam Roxon, remanded for stealing. He is a Ghanaian, remanded for stealing. He is also on the run among the 7 suspects who broke out of the Kwabenya police station. We move on to the third suspect, and we're looking at Dixon Ofori. Dixon Ofori was also arrested for armed robbery. He is also on the run among the 7 suspects who broke out of the Kwabenya police station. We move on to our fourth suspect, and we are looking at Prince Osei Kofi Dakun. Prince Osei Kofi Dakun. He was arrested for possession of firearms without authority. He didn't have any certificate or license to hold firearm. The police, arrested him for possessing firearm without any authority to that effect. We move on to our fifth suspect, and we are looking at Kofi Dakun. Kofi Dakun was arrested on the 19th of January, that's this month, for possessing also firearm without any authority. He also broke out together with other
six suspects from the Kwabenya police. Now, you see, we have our last suspect here. He is the sixth suspect. And we do not have any information about him, what crime he committed, what time he was serving in the jail term. We do not have that information because as at then, when we visited the Kwabenya police station yesterday, police didn't have information as to what crime this guy committed. So we do not know his name and we do not know the crime he committed.
Latif, obviously, we have 6 of the suspects there, but let me introduce private legal practitioner Martin Kwabenya, who joins us live from his office, and he will be telling us the needed reforms to give the police. And we'll come back to you shortly, Counsel, but let me go back to you, Latif, to tell us who the last escapee is, and who we don't have the information of, we don't have his picture, and how is the police explaining this?
Yeah, Aisha, you see that our last suspect, let's go back to our last suspect, we do not have any information about him, the crime he committed, and for what reason he was in jail, we do not know. Unfortunately for the police, they do not have information again on the last suspect. We know 7 guys broke out. We have
definitely
photo of 6 of them. We do not have photo of the last guy, that is 7th person. So as of now, the manhunt is on, but we do not know who the 7th person is, because what I gathered from the police station yesterday when I visited was that the police, the investigator who was carrying out his investigation on that young man, for some reasons, didn't have his photo on his file. So that is an interesting development, and according to the PRO of the Greater Accra Regional Police Command, the investigations which is ongoing would unravel why the officer, failed to provide a picture of this suspect, who is also now on the run, Aisha.
Well, many thanks to you, Latif, for that detailed report on the escapees. Let me go to you, Counsel, private legal practitioner Martin Kwabenya. You have done a lot of studies extensively on the needed reforms to give the police more powers and improve general welfare of the police officers. What is your conclusion, good or bad?
Yeah, looking at, first of all, my condolences to the family of the deceased policeman. Wish them well. Yes, when it comes to the reforms, yes, you see, basically, they are wide-ranging. We will need personal protective equipment for them. You see, specifically, talking about bulletproof vests and ballistic helmets. Here, you also need to take good care of the family in the event of death like this, the demise of this policeman. I know the CI, that's the CI 76, that provides for the working conditions. But when you talk to the police officers, you see that on the ground, the CI is not being fully implemented. You know, recently the IGP and the police council had to come together to even come up with an insurance policy, so to speak, the one that would take care of diseased policemen in events like this. I think they had to insure for 50,000 per head. That's 50,000 for the life of the policeman. You know, 50,000 is money, but it's also not money. For crying out loud, as a policeman. So looking at it, you know that this insurance has to be quadrupled in the list. At least it should be 200,000, because 50,000 today can't do much for the surviving spouse and children. And don't forget, a lot of this, we are in an African setting, so sometimes these policemen also take care of extended family. So if you gauge the benefits in terms of the nuclear family, that would be wrong. There are extended family dependents here and there. So basically, I'm saying that the first step is that the police council should implement the CI fully. You talk to the police officers and you see that the CI is not being implemented the way we think it should be. You say, as I said, the personal protective equipment, okay? You talk about the number of men. Look, when it comes to the number of men, the police service is grossly understaffed. There are well standards for measuring how many policemen we should have to citizens. So the standard is that you should have 1 policeman to 500 citizens. In Ghana, we are doing about double that. So in Ghana, we have 1 policeman to 1,000 citizens. You see, so this is not good. In short, what I'm saying is that the numbers are grossly insufficient to take care of our security needs. You say, yes, it's true, Ghanaians are largely peaceful and law-abiding, but those involved in crimes too are quite a number. So you would find that it's commonplace to find that a lot of suspects have their cases pending because they are not sufficient policemen to carry on with very quick investigations, you see, to make sure that
from where you sit, what recommendations would you give in handling this issue and averting a recurrence?
Yeah, so recurrence, as I said, they should increase their personal protective equipment. Police, we have the vest, bulletproof vest. That's one. Because if the officer had a bulletproof vest on, probably it would have saved the situation. Apart from that, the police stations should have CCTV cameras. You see, if we had CCTV cameras on, we would have had this whole event filmed. We also want the numbers of the policemen increased. The policemen are the police service is grossly understaffed. So we should double the current population.
Well, his line dropped, and that's
that Ghana has
private
just about
legal
half of the number of policemen required for the job.
And
so we need to who
joined us shortly, and he wants the police service to be the numbers he says are too low. We need to increase the numbers to have a ratio of 1:1, and also he wants CCTV cameras in all the police centers, and also, more importantly, he wants the policemen to have bulletproofs, because he says if he had a bulletproof, that officer could have saved his life. It's even obvious, Maxwell, that the policemen on duty at that night didn't have any arm on them, so they were not armed. And if they were armed, they could have also, engage in a shoot back, and probably the situation would have been different.
Well, a lot of the residents that we've been speaking to on the ground, just around Kwabenya.
Well, I'm told Martin Kwabenya is back online. Hold on. And Council, so you were making a point, and you want some improvement at the police stations.
That's correct, yes. So we said they increase the numbers, increase the protective equipment and all those equipment that they use in their work, make the police stations more, and also they would need to revise the protocols for people visiting, because this is taught as the death of the chief inspector is taught as a harsh lesson. Perhaps now they should revise the protocols for people who visit, so that there could be searches. They've always searched when it comes to food, when you're bringing in food. But now with this death, perhaps they have to review how the searches are done to incorporate just any visitor, because for the armed robbers who have done this, it means that this may not be the last. So it's better that we begin to take steps to forestall such an incident occurring in future.
So how does it come across to you that the 6th escapee, there is no information about the 6th escapee, and also the 7th one, there is no data on him?
Well, yeah, it's really shocking. It's shocking. I should think that, you see, we should give the police service some time. They'll be able to gather, because from the way it is, there is what they call the station diary, and this is where the entries are made of persons who are taken into custody and other details about them. You say there is a cell book. The cell book contains further details, the properties. If, let's say, a suspect is brought in, he has any property, those are recorded in the cell book. That's a CID form 69. So from the little that I know about how they put it, is not the norm to have a suspect in custody without any details. So what I would think is that we should give the police service some time. You know, this death has been traumatic. We are all shocked. And especially if a reforming such as myself, you know, we are fighting for wide-ranging reforms to be made in the police service, and also for accused persons to be given more rights. But with this gruesome murder, you know that it annoys, to say the least. Everybody is shocked. People are angry. So it doesn't help our fight. But what I'm saying is that, so knowing the way the police stations are manned, their records, I think we should wait a while. They will gather themselves, and I have no doubt that they will be able to produce the records on that escapee. It's not the norm to put a person in custody without any record at all on him. As I've said, there is a CID Form 69 for the person's properties and all those things.
Counsel, how much more time do we need?
As I've said, you know, as far as I'm aware, I thought it occurred on Saturday, right? And
Sunday.
With this, you know, everybody running helter-skelter, I'm not holding that much brief for them, but I'm just saying that to the extent that there's a station diary, you see, there's a station diary where records are kept about persons in custody. Then there's a CID Form 69, which they popularly call the cell book. With these two records, I have no doubt that if those are obtained and then gone through, eventually the records on these persons will be brought out. And also, another way to get the record is that, don't forget, if those persons have been in custody for more than 48 hours, then presumably they would have been taken to court. There must be a court case. Under our law, the police are not authorized to keep a suspect beyond 48 hours. So that's another angle. So even if they cannot find the station diary and the CID Form 69, that's the cell book, another way to look for the records is to go to the court. Because if once that person has been kept in custody for more than 48 hours, then there should have been a court hearing. You see, so there are so many other ways that, thinking back, once the situation normalizes a bit, the police will be able to find a record. As for that one, I will vouch for them because of the way their records are kept.
Well, many thanks to you. Martin Kwebu is a private legal practitioner, and he's been speaking about some positive reforms at the Ghana Police Service, but he says that he's optimistic the police will be able to provide the data for the two who we do not have information about. Maxwell, what's the mood in the Kwabenya community itself and, you know, adjoining communities?
Well, a lot of the people that we've been speaking to actually mentioned some of the things that the private legal practitioner was talking about. They actually had concerns about even where the Kwabenya police station itself is situated. One gentleman that I spoke to raised concerns about the lack of fencing for the police station, because I mean, people have unfettered access of the police station. You can access it from any angle at all because there's no, you know, there's no fencing around it. You can come in from any point, from behind, from the front, from any part without any search, you know, because it's just some meters away from the main stretch. Right behind it also you can access it. And people are also raising concerns about the number of policemen who were stationed at the police station, at that particular, you know, time. They feel very helpless and very vulnerable. A woman that I spoke to just painted a picture in my mind that I should just imagine her at her home, let's say around 2 a.m., and then she's calling for help if she's been attacked by armed robbers, calling the police station, and here we have the very people who are supposed to help her also coming under attack. She says she feels very vulnerable.
And the fact that they were not armed makes it even more alarming. And many thanks to Maxwell Agbagba for that update. Latif Idris is still on, and he will be telling us about the search mechanism. Latif, so what has the police been saying, especially when we know that there's a foreigner among these suspects?
Exactly, Aisha. And just to add a bit to what Maxwell just mentioned, back to the Kwabenya police station, what we also know is that this wouldn't be the first time inmates at the police station have attempted to break out or successfully managed to do so. In fact, yesterday when I visited the place, the guards who work with GAEC, you know, GAEC is very close to the police station. They were telling me that about 2-3 months ago, there was an inmate who attempted to break out. He came out attempting to pour out some of the urine which had been, guarded during the night. Once he stepped out of the cell, he dropped the container and then started running. The police at the time had to come out and then they shot at him. Later on, they had to pull him back into the cell after giving him some medical treatment. So
it's not the first time?
Yeah, one would want to think that, yes, then the Kwabenya police station we need to take a second look at how the place has been handled over the years. And the point Agwagwa also made, that it is not fenced and all of that. Maybe the police going forward would want to take a second look at the station and how it works. Aisha, back to the suspects who are on the run. We know that the first suspect I pulled out is Chibuzo Akwaba. This is a Nigerian national. So as we conduct the search, I do not know how the police is going about it, but we may want to consider looking at Nigeria as well, because we have a Nigerian national among the 7 who are on the run now, Aisha.
All right, many thanks to Latif Idris. That's a comprehensive one there. But let's go live now to the community. The Deputy Interior Minister has spent some time at Kwabenya today. My colleague Pakwesi Wilson joins me on the line to bring us some update. Good afternoon to you, Pakwesi. Bring us up to speed with what is happening at the police station now. Well, we seem to be having some problems with that. We'll try and bring him back. So, Maxwell, what does the residents want from government?
Well, they say that they want the number of police officers to increased, especially during the evenings. They want them to be equipped with the necessary logistics, because they say that there have been instances when they've called the police station, the vehicle that the policemen are supposed to use to their communities have been deployed to other areas. So they had to wait a while longer before the police officers get there. So they want police in Kwabenya to be retooled. They want the numbers also increased, so at least they can be assured of some security in the community. All right, many thanks to Maxwell Agbagba for the update. Pakwesi Wilson joins us again, who is traveling with the Deputy Minister for Interior. Pakwesi, bring us up to speed as to what is happening at the Kwabenya police station.
Well, I can just report to you this afternoon that business is ongoing as usual here at the Kwabenya District Police Headquarters. I've been here for some time now, and Aisha, can you hear me?
We can hear you clearly. Pakwesi, we can hear you clearly.
Right. So as I mentioned, Aisha, I've been here for some time now at the Kwabenya District Police Headquarters. Now, I have seen some civilians walking to file complaint this afternoon, because still the police are still functioning, despite the fact that they had to go through a few issues that was Sunday dawn, because one of their men was shot by armed men. Now, I do gather that the inmates actually were about 14 at the time when the armed robbers came in to free 7 of the inmates. Now, the 7 other inmates decided not to go, because they believe that perhaps if they go, the police will launch a manhunt for them and arrest them again, and then their punishment will be double. So they decided to stay, and so at the moment they are not here, but rather they've been moved to another location, because the cell, as we speak, is a crime scene which has been called on by the police. So they are investigating the matter. And again, as I mentioned earlier, the police at the station at the moment on duty receiving complaint from civilians are around 15 this afternoon. So business is going on as usual here at the Kwabenya District Police. And let me say that the policemen are saying that, well, they are really not perturbed, because this is the profession they have chosen to safeguard the lives of Ghanaians and protect Ghanaians. But it is rather unfortunate that these things do happen to them, but for them, they remain resolute. They believe that they will be able to make sure that they arrest the culprits or the people behind this particular act. So they are really not perturbed, but just praying that they put together a few things, some mechanisms to ensure that next time they would be able to handle such an issue when it arises. So these are some of the information I have gathered here this very afternoon.
Right. Okay, many thanks to you, Pakwesi Pakawil Singh. The wife of the policeman who was shot has also been speaking to us and sharing her grief.
Nanya better mama because me could not cry me Saturday no say or night until Obaba until mostly no Obaby fear 4:30 Hono na waba until me the kind ebe be gate no say na be ya oba obe to me review Mpya 4:35 Wamba 5:30 Wamba 6 o'clock. Let me say, oh, now another papa de ebanese because so obeko baby so for night obe on befi obeko baby wakachira me say enti oya ordinatary egu na ekem se na be ya odibe ko afi wan kan chira me ebo sis na wan ma no am say oh na papa oko baby na wan kra me ana wan kan chira me ana ana me ka che nkwala na say oh ene de yebekọ asọrọ ne ti no omunko yi atare na ye ntoso na daddy wo for night bo anya ade obetumi akọ asọrọ nti obeda kakra enti no me wo wa na akọ me smo ga ne be from say ma ye hwehwe me pie ya police ne ba akọ ayi ne ti wo area ha ana obaye pe no be bisa me say ma daddy wo he na me so okọ night ana so inti me friend ni number man no hwe inti me friend number no me friend no na ye engage saka wa me wo na me san friend kakra me friend na ekọ but obi amfa na me say me boni din say bra Israel ade asam na aba bibi na ka che so oti bibi se bia ayo no anasa enyo no na me say oh sa inti me friend me sister odi mechi ni kuno no so ye inspector Jeble Ashlevi me friend na do kan say o ba me ho na me bi say na no petututu ba me ho wan ba me ha say da na eba ne say o so esa me ba bo ho na me so yo mati wo ba me ho ahwa na me a bibi sate say me na me say da bi enti me friend Israel na ka bi say say bibi ni o mo mpo mama ne o so da bi say bra Eric so o ba dia and or tran na me radem so because awa kakra afi medu dem ho na afi me na bibi ato me so me hu na me nye me so me shawa me pie ba ya me pie wo gate na no ape na me hu say penyufo cars police officers penyufo nyina abesarade ha afi nkofe twa me hesha na te say bibi koso na omo cars me betena ase na me betena ase asan say Blarick no inspector no so ka mo ho ono mo ba ono IGP ne penifo nyina anti dan pare ni na ba ye nti no so me betena ase nti me betena ase na penifo na nkasa afra me bom amane ase be de esie ni nti na amroba na mo hyetu ko no na wewu nti mo moto anamo se bia omo be bom amane chese na nya ise ho ne de na afi ya sosumo omo pata me echichi mera don beka Reverend Father be so kam ho na omobom pai mame.
So that was wife of the deceased, Esther Ashilevi, explaining how her husband hasn't stayed out for too long without calling her, but this time he did, and so she was worried until a police neighbor came to her trying to explain something to her. Then again she had a call from the sister of the deceased, who also said she was paying her a visit that very early morning, and so she was shocked to hear that because that had never happened. And then she said a while just a few minutes after, some policemen came, surrounded, all the senior police officers came there, surrounded, and that was when she got to know that there was indeed a big problem. And then finally, they broke the news to her, and of course, she could tell how uneasy that would be. So it's been a day of bloody shootout. Policeman dies. The Kwabenya police station has been cordoned off. We're told that business is back as usual, but the residents are not not taking it as business as usual. They're still living in fear, and they want government to assure them that all will be well. We'll take a break on the Pulse.